looking. I started, becoming more aware of some things, as best I could at this point, and it was January 25th, 2005 when I found the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. Lost a job, life was a chaotic mess. Couldn't see a counselor or get into treatment for 11 days. I knew I wouldn't make it 11 days without something. I went and spoke to somebody. I got out of my comfort zone and I said, I got to do something because I'm not going to live 11 more days, He said, I heard of these things, these NA meetings. You can maybe go there. There's one Tuesday night in Griffith, and that's where I went. And I came in and went to a few meetings, got a sponsor, and started doing my best to work some steps to change some things, But I also had the mentality at this time that my problem revolved solely around drugs. Okay, I used too many drugs. I made these bad choices to live, to be in this lifestyle. I got a little bit better for the two and a half months that I stuck around that time. Got a few things back, Learned a little bit about how I was using way too much and how maybe I could change some things, and went out doing what I do, Decided that I knew that I'd stay away from these things and keep away from these friends, and it'd be different. That led to the worst 2 years of my life, When I came back to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous this time, I was actually headed for a job, and the job fell through. But what I found was some people with 20 plus years, and they said, let's go to a meeting. So I don't know, from that long whole story, what it led to was me being in a place where I had enough life experiences to know that everything I had ever tried didn't work, and it wasn't working. I was more open-minded than I'd ever been because I came in and whatever you said I was going to do. No arguments, no questions, I'd had enough pain, it had hurt enough, and so let's try something different. And it's an amazing thing because I was welcomed with open arms, and I started finding people that were encouraging, They're like, just keep coming back, one day at a time, I met the man who's now my sponsor, and I met him, he was setting up a meeting, and he didn't say, hey, you, get over there and set that literature out. He was talking and setting literature out, and I started helping him, He led by example. He showed me, instead of telling me, he showed me by all the things that he did, how he was having a difference in his life, and it was like the most amazing thing, man. Because there was no thought into it. There was nothing that I had done. I was just showing up. I was showing up, and I was willing to do whatever, and it just flowed. It was like I was completely out of it. It was God, I had put myself in a position that I was willing to accept his help for the first time, I started going to a lot of meetings, and things got better. Started doing some step work, and struggled a little bit, and didn't like this step. It wasn't working right, and we got through it. We got through it. We talked about it. I go to meetings, and I'd go in there, and, I have to remember from that very first day what happened, I got honest with somebody, that very first time I got honest with God in the privacy of my own room, and today I can stand up here and get a little more honest with some people I don't know, and that's change, And so when I'm struggling with that fourth step, I'm in a meeting and I'm crying about it, because you know what? I'm afraid that you're going to see me crying, you're going to laugh about it, and you're going to tell everybody, but you know what? I'm more afraid of dying than I am of what you're really going to say. So I do that, take on some service work. I take on service work because that's what you do. You know, I see people take on service work, so I'm going to do it. And I didn't understand. I don't really know so much that I do today, but it's different than what it was. You know, that first service commitment that I had was, you know, this is what you do, and if I do it, I'm just going to stay clean. And today I have these positions, and it's different because after all the things I've done, after all the harm and the wrong, here I'm in this opportunity, and I'm giving back to people. And I'm doing things that are like, they make me feel good inside, you know? Because I don't want to hurt people, man. I don't, you know? But I'm that individual, man. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and that's never going to change, you know? But I want it to. See, I have this idea of who I want to be, you know? I want to be like that guy, and he's tough, and he's doesn't cry, and he's firm, and he's respected, and he's strong, and when I behave that way, I'm not being true to who I am, and then I get all like conflicted and tore up inside, you know. And it's funny because like I'm up here talking about this right now, you know, and honestly, I didn't want to be here, you know. I'm really grateful that I'm here, and I love this place. It's awesome, you know. But I didn't want to come this weekend because I didn't want to do what I needed to do, you know. I'm in this weird spot, you know, this last week, and I'm struggling with who I am and being true to that. You know, so here I am, I'm like at the house, and I'm just going to take a nap, and my phone won't quit ringing, and they're like, when are you coming? And I'm like, I'll be there, and they keep calling, you know. I made myself available, you know, and God works through other people. He's been doing it for, 21 months now. And I got to be aware, you know, and be willing to see these things when it happens, you know. The other day, I had the worst day of my whole life, right? You know, I mean, it's just terrible, right? I'm feeling all tore up because I acted out on some things, you know? And so then I'm leaving from work, you know, and I get a phone call from an addict, you know, and some kind words and some back and forth for a minute, you know, and it's not so big a deal, you know, and that gives me the little bit of strength to go on and do the next step, you know, and I end up at this appointment that I have, you know. And out of nowhere, I get some kind words from some people, you know, and they're like, we're glad you're here because when you come in, you lighten up the room. And I'm like, me? You know, me? But see, I need to hear that. I need to hear the positive and the negative, you know, and at that time, I really needed that because I was like tore up, you know. I'm sitting here and like I just did some stuff, and I'm like, with this much clean time and I'm acting out this way, nothing's changed, you know. But it's deep because once I hung on there, you know, and I go home that night and I'm evaluating my day and I'm praying about it, you know. I'm right, nothing changed. The same person I've always been. There ain't no dope in my life today. And I'm still going to act out on these things. And I'm still going to make mistakes. And I need to accept that and be all right with that if I'm going to have a decent life, you know. But that's hard. You know, it's hard to let go of, you know, there's that line in the literature where it talks about that, like, everything is subject for revision, especially what we know about the truth. And, you know, and that truth, man, it's made me who I am. It's got me here, you know, and I'm not ready to let go of that, but I wasn't aware until just this week that I'm not, you know. So it's interesting, you know, like, you know, when did this whole thing happen? You know, when did the healing start? I know at that very first meeting, life was never the same. When I went back out using, life was never the same. It didn't feel the same, you know. The people weren't the same. I saw them different. You guys screwed that up for me, you know. I'm so grateful for that too, you know. And I love when we talk about this as a process. You know, when we talk about God only gives me what I can handle, you know. And, man, if I'd had all this information thrown in my lap on January 25th, I don't know what would happen because I couldn't have processed and handled all that information, you know. But I got bits and pieces, just enough, you know, just enough to, like, make me try or make me do one more thing or one more day or come back or read one more step or answer one more question. You know, and through doing this, I'm growing, you know. I was talking with this addict the other day, and I'm telling him, you know, it's an amazing thing, right? I got this fear. I won't look in the mirror, you know, even today. You know, I won't look myself in the eyes in the mirror, you know. But what I'm finding out is I don't have to. You know, these situations are presenting themselves in my life where I'm seeing exactly who I am, with a mirror without, you know. It's a beautiful thing about step work. Nowhere in there does it say that it's going to be completely pain-free, you know. I expect it to. See, I hear the word healing, and I'm like, you know, I put a Band-Aid on it, it gets better tomorrow, you know. Get some Neosporin, it'll be better in like 5 hours. But I heard somebody say once that they were talking about giving something to a newcomer, you know, and he takes this book, you know, one of the books where the guy's been having it signed for 20 years, you know, and he takes this book and he gives it to the newcomer. The guy's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, it means more when it means something. You know, don't appreciate what you have until it's gone, right? I expect to have this different life. I expect all this change, and I expect these things to go on. And the only way I'm going to ever hold on to it, the only way it's ever going to become a part of who I am, is when I have to struggle and I have to do the things that I have to do when I don't want to do them, when I have to feel it clean. You know what I mean? It's one of the most difficult things that I've had to experience, you know, around here is this feeling of these things, you know, and not running away from them, you know. Old behavior, I have a problem with something, I run away, you know. I've lived in like 8 different states in this country, you know. I run away. That's what I do. I also run away because, like, if I stick around too long, you're going to find out who I am. You're not going to like me anyway, so we might as well just go before you really find out, you know. And I've stuck put for the last year, you know. I've stuck put. That's the hardest thing is not acting out on that emotion, man. I just, you know, I want to go. I want to run. You know, that self-destructive behavior, you know. So I'm writing about these things, you know, and it's funny, I come up to the 7th step, and that's one of the hardest ones for me to write on, you know. And after this week, I'm starting to find out a little bit about why that is, you know. There's a lot of things that haven't been dealt with, you know, because I couldn't deal with them at the time. You know, I had to get to where I'm at today so that I can have a different perspective, you know, so that it can mean a little bit more. I thought I had worked through all these things with God in the 3rd step, you know. I got the 3rd step in my life. I understand that it's like spiritual and not religious, and I'm cool, right? But it goes a little bit deeper than all that, you know. Deeper than that I just buy into this, you know. It's the acceptance of everything around me exactly how it is, you know. These are the things that I have to become completely aware of and work on if I want to stay here, you know. But I have to let go. You know, I got to let go. I got to get vulnerable. I got to stand up here and tell you that this last week was a crazy mess, you know, and I don't want to do that. You know, I want you guys to all think how great I'm doing, you know, but it's not true, man. It's not true, you know. And it's nice because I can stand here and I can say that it was a chaotic mess, and you know what? I'm still doing the things that I need to do. I'm still here. Was really unhappy with all the phone calls that made me get up and go to the store and get all the stuff, and I leave Meyer and I'm happy. I'm excited. You know, I get down here and it's a beautiful night, you know, and I'm sitting in the chair and this addict's like, "Hey, look up." I look up, man, there's 1,000,000 stars in the sky. Somebody had to remind me to look up and see the stars, you know what I'm saying? I said, I can't do this without you guys, man. If you're not there to call and to say, hey, look up, you know. To remind me of the things that aren't being noticed, that I'm not aware of, you know. There's so many things that I haven't even begun to understand yet that are out there that are going to help me in the future. I can't see them right now. You know, it's like that thing where we talk about being young, you know. I'm like a 2-year-old, you know. Been living like this my whole life, man. My experiences with being clean are about a fifth of what I used. You know, I heard an addict say one time that he made a deal with himself that he was going to stay clean twice as long as he used, you know. Remember, we were just recently talking about that. I had that deal, you know, I'm going to stay clean for a year, right? I want to see what life is in a year. I want to see what changes, you know. And so then it was like, all right, we're going to go 2 years, you know. And, you know, it's funny because, like, all this was going on, you know, and it was like I was really mad at some things that one day, and I'm like, you know, I have them thoughts, hey, I'm going to go do this, you know. But see, you guys taught me that this is a just for today program. I live for today, but I can plan for tomorrow. See, I've made some plans in my life for tomorrow, okay? And those plans came up in my mind when this went on. And those plans came up, and it was like, wow, I can't do that, because if I do that, then I'm going to go there, and then it's not going to be what it was. I'm not going to have that time, and I'm not going to celebrate that anniversary at this new place. And it's not the solution, it's not the fix-all, but, you know, it was enough that bought me another few minutes to get on the phone and call somebody and talk to somebody, you know. It's baby steps for me, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still really nervous. But it's cool. I have a good friend in this program, and I'd given a short lead one time, and she was talking about how, you know, she signed in my book that the buy-in is in the heart. That what makes this program work is when you believe it, and you buy in with your heart and every bit of you, you know. And see, I've experienced with doing that before, completely giving of myself. You know, I did that to active addiction, and it didn't give me the outcome that I wanted, you know. So here I am today trying it again, right? And the benefits keep coming, you know. But it's funny because, like somebody was talking earlier today, you know, all this outward stuff, you know, I can have all the benefits and the jobs and the great cars and the houses and the money, and I'm never going to be happy until I'm happy here, you know. I don't know how to get happy here. If I knew how to get happy here, I'd have done it a long time ago. You know, the only way that's ever going to happen is through God, through some step work. You know, so here I am, like, letting go of some things, you know, and I'm inviting God more into my life, you know. Before I came up here, I'm outside for a few minutes, you know, and I'm praying about it, you know, and I feel better than I've ever felt, man. I really do, you know. I'm so grateful that I came on this trip, you know. The minute I get down here, you know, I had that 1.5-hour ride out here, and I don't know what it is, but for some reason, like, that's when I'm the closest with higher power, when I'm in the car and I'm driving, you know, and I can just talk, and there's nobody around, and there's no fear, and I'm talking just like he's sitting right next to me, you know, and that's some of the points where I've experienced the most growth, you know, because in those times I'm able to really evaluate some things, you know. I'm able to say some things that I'm not going to say up here, you know, some things that I'm going to have a hard time saying to sponsor as much as I love him, you know, and it starts there, you know. The healing starts when I begin to start talking to God and just trust that I can do that, you know, and that's going to lead me to be able to talk to sponsor, and in turn I'll talk to you guys about it, you know. It's doing what's necessary, followed by what's possible. It leads me doing the impossible. I like that one. You know. I don't know. I really don't have a whole lot more to share on this. Really grateful that you guys gave me this opportunity. I love you all, and that's all I have.
Would you all help me welcome Kobe?
My name's Colby. I'm an addict. Thanks to the convention committee for not having enough people to speak and me showing up. Derek, I asked Derek how I could help, and he said, I need speakers, and my sponsor told me don't say no. So, this program and you people and this fellowship have given me everything that I have. So when the opportunity presents itself, I'm supposed to step up and do what's asked of me. But I'm looking on the list and all the good topics were taken. The healing begins, man. I don't know. I thought, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. I know it's different for everybody. I think for me that the healing that I experience in Narcotics Anonymous is the process I go through by working the steps and letting God into my life touch my spirit and the changes inward and outward that I experience. I see so much of that here too at Camp Mac. Year after year, it continues to be a place where I can let go and shed all that stuff that I carry with me every day. That when we come here, it just isn't important anymore. This is my 11th year in a row at We Grow With Love. They say when you come, you want to come back. For me, that's true. In the very first year I was here, I was walking along the lake. I was all jumbled up inside, and it was starting to come out. And I sat down on, there was this bench next to the water, and my friend Moena was sitting there, and we're just looking at the water, and she's like, so what's going on? And I started bawling. And that's what happens here for me. That's what happens. And then I think the next year, I was excited and had my truck all packed up, and I pulled in through those gates, and I'm driving down the gravel road, and it just hit me, I started crying again. And then like the year after that, I'm packing up my truck, it's like, here we go again, and I just lost it. And it's that God touches me here. My spirit gets recharged. I would like to harness this and carry it with me. I can for a little while, but I am who I am, and my process is mine, and my job is to continue to work steps and be honest and to try. I think the healing, I mean, what am I healing from? I mean, I'm damaged goods. I don't know why, and it doesn't matter why. I have a distorted perception of reality. My disease and my thinking is designed to isolate me and push me away from people who love me and get me to kill myself. Thank God for you people for being a healthier outside perspective than myself. I was on my way here. I've been spending a lot of time taking my daughter to, she's involved in age group sports now, and thank God I can do that today. But of course, you know, there's some parents there who have been doing this a long time, and they're overly involved in their kids and the sports. I don't know if you know any of those people. And their kids have the jackets and the backpacks and the names and the t-shirts, and this is all new to me. And I thought, well, what if I could get that for my kid? I want my kid to have neat stuff like that too. And I'm driving down the road and I'm thinking I could get her name embroidered on her backpack, and she would love that. And this is my thinking as I'm driving down the road coming here. She'd really enjoy that. She likes pink. She's 8 years old, you know. And that her stuff would be there in the stands, and she'd be swimming. Oh, but one of the other parents, they might see her stuff, and, you know, they know that, you know, she just started, and they might say something like, something negative. And this is where my thinking goes. Someone might say something, then how would I react? And I know if her or her said something, and her husband, and I know her husband, and I'll punk him out. And this is my thinking driving down the road. I'm like, wow, I got a long way to go, man. God help me. God help me. Really blessed with some beautiful friends here. I see faces here that I only see at We Grow with Love. For me, my sponsor is such a big part of my program. I talk to him every day. He continues to probably be the single most influential person in my recovery. He has such a healthy perspective on things. I'm learning to rely on him more and more. And I don't always. I have a network of people and that I share bits and pieces with. But my sponsor, I tell him everything. And he's not my first sponsor. Hopefully he's my last. But that's been a learning process, because learning to trust and love another man is difficult. But he's really great. He doesn't judge. He allows me to make mistakes, and I feel continually more comfortable being able to bring to him my stuff. And I think God speaks to me through other people. Sometimes when I am really in a tough spot and I just call him and he doesn't answer, and I hear his voice on his voicemail, I can cry. I know I'm not perfect, and I'm not supposed to be perfect. And so healing working the steps and healing from the disease of addiction has shown me some changes inside and outside of myself. And inside, my perception of myself has changed. I'm not as bad as I think I am. I'm not as great as I think I am. The disease wants me to minimize and maximize my importance around here so that I don't have to let you in. And progress around here is different for everybody. My responsibility is to do what I have to do for myself. Chapter 8, there is no model of the recovering addict. When the drugs go and the addict works the program, wonderful things happen. Lost dreams awaken and new possibilities arise. Our willingness to grow spiritually keeps us buoyant. When we take the actions indicated in the steps, the results are a change in our personalities. It is our actions that are important. We leave the results up to our higher power. And that's difficult to do. And for me, it's been taking practice. The outward indications of my change are in my behavior. The list that we came up with in 6 and 7 from our 5th step with my sponsor and myself, I mean, he really shone the light on some patterns in my thinking. And I mean, that's growth for me, to look at that stuff and recognize it before it manifests itself. So I don't have to continue to hurt myself and other people to get better around here. I mean, pain's a great motivator, but what if we can do something about that? What if I can talk about my next great idea with someone I love before I just go and do it? And that's painful stuff, and so, I mean, thank God for him. The solutions for me in Narcotics Anonymous continue to come from where I don't expect them. I can look at you and I know what you're going to say, and I got you summed up, Jack. I know. And that's so dangerous. I don't know how many times I've been in a convention on Friday and checking into the hotel and you know, where are we at, man? Because who's this cat? You know, check him out. You know, well, guess what? That's the main speaker for tomorrow night. You know, how hard, you know, just to walk up to somebody and hug them and introduce, just for me to walk up to somebody and introduce myself, it takes work and it takes effort. But God speaks to me through people. Last year here, I tried to eat a meal at a different table with somebody different at every meal. And I don't remember who you people were, but thank you. It was about me doing something different that I don't want to do. I don't want to wear this. I hate these. I hate them. Because I don't want to wear the thing that says I'm a part of and I want to get better. I don't want you to know that I need some help. I don't want you to know that I'm sick. I think it's such a big fallacy, too. I mean, we get clean and we come around and then, you know, it's like we've arrived or something. That all of a sudden, you know, what everybody else got going on is more important than what I got going on. If my focus is not on the work that I have to do on myself, then I have work to do. it's so easy for me to sit in a meeting and listen to the voice in my head tell me why I don't have to listen to you, why you're different than me, how you can't relate to me by the clothes you're wearing, your body language. That's my sick thinking telling me to get up and leave. That you can't help me. My mind has gone from open and closed in 2.3 seconds, and I'm not going to hear anything you say. And when that happens, I lose my connection to God. I'm not listening to the message. My job in a meeting is to listen. I don't know what's going to be said next. I don't know where the message is going to come from. I don't know. What I do know is my experience shows me it's going to come from where I least expect it. Listening is hard. But if God speaks to me through other people, I better try. My disease wants to discount you and what you're about so I can leave the meeting, isolate, and use. It's so easy to go there, but once I do that, I'm not in the here and now. I don't hear God. I throw my will up, and that blocks God's light. Now I'm living in the shadows. And I understand it because I do it. There's another part in chapter 8 that I really like. If I could find it. As we recover, we gain a new outlook on being clean. We enjoy a feeling of release and freedom from the desire to use. We find that everyone we meet eventually has something to offer. We become able to receive as well as to give. Life can become a new adventure for us. We come to know happiness, joy, and freedom. Healing the relationships in my life has taken work. Just because I get clean, this stuff just doesn't automatically happen. The last thing to go is the stigma of being an addict. I can make some real progress with myself and with God and with my sponsor and with you, but if I don't show that at home, then nothing's changed. It's hard to walk through the door and kiss my wife and tell her that I love her, because that's not what I normally want to do. It takes an effort. So I have to stop at my door and pray. Our loved ones are so easy to hurt because they aren't going anywhere. Do I want to be in a relationship, or do I just want to take hostages? My loved ones don't deserve to have to walk on eggshells around me because they don't know how I will react. That is unfair. Nobody deserves to live with a bully. Nobody. I wouldn't like it. Nobody likes that shit. If I don't try and show this stuff at home, then what am I doing? relationships with you people, too, have come a long way, especially in service, in my home group. I 7-8 years ago, I got snored out of a cabin here, so I decided that next year I'm going to bring a tent. And I found a clearing along the lake to get away from everybody. And look what God does. All I wanted was some peace and quiet. I think there's 16 tents down there this year. We got, subcommittee meetings and a $100 coffee fund at this point. It just keeps getting bigger, and so I guess I'm not supposed to have peace and quiet. And that's what I call it, but, we could put a lot of names on isolation, can't we? I can't hear God speak through you if I'm sitting in the woods by myself. I mean, I don't know. I think it's turned into a wonderful experience, and getting along with people in that kind of close environment and situation over the weekend really brings out a lot of good stuff. Conflicts that we might normally stuff when we're only exposed to each other for an hour or two at a meeting.
Thanks.
Don't come out unless we spend some time with each other. Oh, Lord. There's another sentence I like in it. We do not have to understand this program for it to work. All we have to do is follow direction. I think my job here is to try. I don't know always what to do. You people told me what to do. You people showed me. I can't sit at home with my basic text and recover. I need to hear you talk about practical applications of the steps in your life. I need you to hurt. I need you to come. To meetings and cry and talk about how you hurt. Because otherwise, my thinking tells me that I'm the only one that goes through this stuff. That, I've been applying my trade, thank God, for 20 years I've been doing, the same kind of work, industrial construction, and I'm a 40-year-old man, and that the guys I work with can say things that hurt me. And if you don't come to the meeting and talk about how people can hurt your feelings with their words, then I think that I'm less than, that there's no hope for me, that I'm another hopeless addict, and that this program can't help me either. Because I can sit in the rooms and I can listen to you talk and I can listen to you share, and you can talk about the successes that you have in your life. And I'm like, that's awesome, man. Good for you, bro. That's great. That's great. But inside I can tell myself, that's for you. That ain't for me. that somehow God is good and God is great, and I know this, but that shit you're talking about, that's for you. That ain't for me. That's what my head tells me. And so when I can try and listen, I can hear the solution. But when I hug other men, that has been an area of growth. All my misperceptions in this world continually show up in the rooms in Narcotics Anonymous. Dealing with people is hard, but so worth it. So worth it. A simple hug when I hurt makes all the difference sometimes. I don't, and it's not like I walk around crying, I'm really like falling apart up here, and that's cool. That's cool. But I don't show that. I don't walk around like that. And I can be hurting so bad inside, and I can be confused and I can be lost. We get spun out around here sometimes. This is what happens to me. And I need you to hug me. I need you to show concern for me. I need you to give me the same consideration that you want for yourself in the rooms in Narcotics Anonymous. We talk about empathy and seeing each other as ourselves and coming to a common plane around here with each other so that we can relate and help each other heal and get better. If I want to bitch about how you got up for coffee and went out to smoke when I'm sharing, but then when you're sharing, I'm spending the whole time texting and acting a fool, I'm not showing any consideration. My responsibility is to give you the same consideration and pray that you receive the same benefits of recovery that I want for myself. I don't know. God is so good. I'm grateful to be here this weekend. To have all these wonderful people around. My air mattress went flat about 4:30 last night. Because I got to roll into camp with the stuff, I got my air mattress and everything, and I pumped it up, and I got about 2 hours of sleep, man. It was, and I thought, that's all right. Sometimes I got to change my expectations around, it's wonderful to be here, and I'm a grateful addict, and thank you. That's all I got.
We will open up the mic for Any comments? Steve says if you don't want to be taped, give him the sign. This is the sign.
My name is Superior, and I'm truly a grateful recovering addict. I'm an addict from Fort Wayne. This is my first time ever being on a campground. And then for the addicts, the two addicts that shared on the healing begins on the inside, I just want to thank you for that. I definitely got a lot out of that. I was sitting there listening to the addict share, and he was talking about how overwhelmed he got on the way down here. And I thought about, I was going through a lot down there in Fort Wayne, and I went to a meeting yesterday, and we got an addict down there that looked real normal, and everything was going real well, and he began to have headaches, and he went to the doctor, and he got brain cancer, and it's in terminal. And we got a convention coming up called A Gift Called Life. And I thought about how grateful I was to be able to wake up in the morning with no pains, and how grateful I was to be able to go in there and get some hot water, and how grateful I was to be able to have a roof over my head and I don't have to sleep on the side of the buildings no more. And I thought about this gift called life, how grateful I am just to be in the realm of this gift called life. And no matter what I go through and no matter what my life look like, long as I don't pick up, life is so much better. Long as I don't get high, long as I don't lead this process, long as I continue to work steps, long as I continue to call my sponsor, long as I continue to show up at a meeting, long as I continue to do service work, I can continue to get better. And I thank God for that. And I thank God that I came to Camp Mac. Because that man talked about just giving out them little simple hugs. And I just started running up on people saying, my name is Superior, I'm an addict from Fort Wayne, and I need a hug. And I just thank God for that I don't exclude myself. You know, I don't sit on the back side of the rooms anymore. I get up front. I don't run outside to smoke no cigarettes, and I don't run to the coffee machine often, because I know that my life is at stake, and I need to be sitting down, getting all I can get. I thank God for this process. I thank God for Narcotics Anonymous, and I thank God for the addicts that invited me down here to Camp Mac, because I am really getting spiritually fed down here. And I needed that, because sometimes I can lose my connect with God. Things will start going real good for me, and I forget to get up in the morning and pray. You know what I'm saying? The only time I feel the need to pray is when things is going real bad, but I thank God that I just get up in the morning just off of free will now and just thank him. I just thank him for my kids, and I can't stand them. But I thank him for them. You know, I need to say that. I can't stand them, but I thank him for it. I'm just really excited about being here. I'm excited for the addicts that shared. I love NA. I'm one of them unconditional lovers, so I love everybody in NA. I don't have no certain preference that I deal with. I don't have no certain preference that I hug. I don't have no certain preference that I tell them that I love them. I don't have no certain preference that I call on the phone and say, I just called to tell you that I love you. See, I don't have no certain preference. I thank God that he has opened my mind, my heart, and my eyes to receive all that he has in this program for me. You know, and I'm just real grateful for that, and just grateful for the addict they shared about, you know, being within, going on the inside, healing on the inside. That's a hard job to do, but healing on the inside. I just thank God for this process, and my name is Superior, and I'm an addict, and I'm going to keep coming back.
Good evening, family. My name is Edward. I'm at it. It's my first time here in Camp Mac, but I'm enjoying myself, you know, and I heard you speaking, you know, that they said work on the inside. Like they said, it's a program work on the inside, not the outside. The outside look good, but what's on the inside? Is the inside match the outside? You know, they told me when I get here, go look at that tree back there. And I started back there, but there's a lot of water back there. I said, oh, Lord, have mercy. They said, you got to take your shoes off. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to take my shoes off. I'm going to go back to see the car because my friend, he got 30 days. He said he went to see that tree, and he cried. And I want to go see that tree because there's something about that tree, they said. There's something about that tree, you know. And I was excited because they said, Camp Mac, I ain't never been here. I said, well, tell my lady friends, come on, let's go. We're going to Camp Mac. I said, we're going to Camp Mac today. I said, we said, what time? We're going to leave at 12. He said, no, we're going to leave earlier than that. So we left, and we got the rest, and we came here. And I'm very excited that I can come to a workshop and come to a lot of people just clean like me, and we all suffer from disease. We all know each other, and we all can help each other, and we all can look out for each other. You know, I got a network with people, you know, and they want to become even better. I said, well, I bought something. I said, well, y'all just go ahead and enjoy it. I'll catch y'all next Saturday. I'm going to Camp Mac. And I'm really excited because some new faces I ain't never seen. I ain't never seen y'all. Never in my life. I ain't never seen y'all. Y'all ain't never seen me. Some of y'all seen me, some of y'all ain't seen me. But I ain't never seen the rest of y'all, never in my life. But we can help each other. I would walk around like she said. I hug, hey, you doing? My name is this, blah, blah, blah. I'm from Detroit. I'm from South Bend. But I'm very excited today, you know, that I can come to a place that I can talk about my disease, and y'all know what I'm talking about. And if I'm going through something, I always can call my sponsor. I stay with my sponsor, we stay on the phone. You know, like yesterday, I was with him all day yesterday when he got from work. You know, he got his dad in his house with him, and I go by, and I sit down and talk with his dad. And me and his dad would be laughing and grinning. He said, man, I'm a young man. He said, I said, you old, man. And he said, I'm not the only thing I don't get clothes. I said, okay. But, you know, I'm getting to know his daddy. You know, he took his daddy in. And, because his daddy got old time and can't do everything by himself, you know. So I told him, I said, well, I had to do the same thing for my uncle. And I had to live my life around my uncle. So I said, let him have his freedom, let him do this, what he want to do, let him do it. You know, and I just love this program because I can help somebody. I can do service work. They always told me, service work get you out of yourself and get you into the group. I do a lot of service work with my home group. You know, I got a home group. And everybody that back down the home group, I stepped down, then the people took over, then they stepped back down. I said, oh, shit, I got to do it again. But it's helping me because newcomers do come in. And I be there every day. I be there on time. And whenever somebody asks me to do something, I do it. I don't say no. Like my sponsor, his car was down, and he kept on calling me at there. I said, you think my truck is a chassis cab? And they ain't got no taxi on top of my truck. But I dealt there for him, you know. And I keep coming back, and I love each and every one of y'all. I'm going to see that too.
I'm Becky. I'm an addict. Hey, Becky. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to hear people share honestly and from the heart. And the topic's about healing, and I'm going to share some pain because I know that's what helps me, and that's what I was taught. I got a call when I was on my way back up from the shower actually a text, because, you know, I always like to hear things like this through text message. Isn't technology amazing? That my friend's son died this morning in a car accident. He was 21, and he graduated with my son, played football with both my boys. And I have such loving and beautiful friends in my life, and people kept asking me, what can we do? What can we do? I don't know what to do. Part of me thinks, and I'm trying to contact my sponsor, but I went to the chapel because I was taught that when I don't know what to do, that I should do what I know to do, and I really felt like I needed to talk to God. So I did that. I tried to call my sponsor. My first instinct is to run. I don't want to feel what I'm feeling. I don't want her or my friend to feel what she's feeling. I want to somehow make it better. I feel really inadequate. I feel really helpless right now. And I at first thought, well, you should go home, you know, but there's really nothing for me to do at home besides cry and feel sad. And I'm really in the best place that I can be right now. And I keep thinking too, because I'm so messed up. And I'm just going to get really honest that what if people see me crying and they think that I'm crying over some stupid man or that I'm like creating some drama. Sorry guys, not stupid. Not all of you are stupid, you know. But like I automatically go there, you know, like that I can't be in a place and feel peace and love and that I have to create drama or whatever, you know. And it's like I'm so worried about what other people are going to think, and I'm so worried about what I should feel or what I should do, you know? Like I'm afraid that if I go back out there and I have fun, that that's the wrong thing. Like that I should somehow make this better. And I can't imagine the pain. I like to think that I can get through anything clean. I've seen other people get through things like this clean, but I keep thinking, part of me so selfish, like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that it wasn't me, because I don't think I could do it. But I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to think about that. I can just be grateful that I'm in a place of healing and of hope where people love me, a beautiful place. And I was sharing last night, kind of joking, but mostly not, that, you know, I don't really grow with love, that I grow with pain. But what I realized was all of you just loving me unconditionally, I do grow with love. I can grow and I can come through the other side. And even though there's pain, there's also love and kindness and hugs. And I really appreciate that, and I appreciate the people in my life, the friends in my life, even the people who I don't know who just stop on the sidewalk and just hug you randomly. I mean, where else does that happen in America, you know? I mean, really, because I'm such a hugger. I'll be at the grocery store and the bagger will go to put my bags and I want to hug him, and I'm like, oh no, I can't do that here. Like, boundaries, you know? So I'm like, oh, thank you. No, it's not okay. But that's just who I am, and I really like what's been shared, and I liked what you shared about wearing your heart on your sleeve, and I'm going to keep loving people. This is just a little aside. I'm going to keep loving people, and they can hurt me, and I'm not going to stop because that's who I am. And I'm going to put principles over personalities because that helps me stay clean. I'm going to try really hard not to worry so much about what people think, but, you know, it's progress, not perfection, and I'm working on things, baby steps, you know. But that's where I'm at, that I'm able to come back down here again this year and see some loving, kind people instead of hiding or being afraid, even though I am a little afraid. And things are different now, you know. They're not bad. They're just different for me right now. And I'm grateful that I have a place to come. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here.